EB1, EB2, EB3, all these employment base can be filed when they are outside the United States. About 9, 10 category there are listed. Not every category applicable to everybody. EB3 is pretty much anybody. EB3 has a professional, skilled, unskilled. If we can prove you have work that is significant to the United States and it's important, then you should be eligible. I have helped a lot of people. I have provided the best I can do for them. And people have, I have earned their trust. I have delivered the results. Maybe that's the reason people like me and they keep coming back to me. There are 3 types of immigration, mainly 3. One is employment based, all through employment. Even in employment, there are several categories: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's one. Remember, each category has to meet they have their own requirements. Sometimes one person can meet more than one. Sometimes one person doesn't even meet one. So, but there are requirements under each category: E1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That comes under work related. But I'm talking about all permanent green card related thing. And there is also family based. So the family also sponsors sons, daughters, without 21, green card holders, sons, daughters, wife, husband, citizens, parents, children, brothers, sister. It goes on all these categories to up to brothers and sisters of the United States. That's family. But there is something called the special immigration status. That's sometimes through guardianship, through U visa, through Violence Against Women Act. Those are separate of the special categories. So so there's a lot of millions of people entering the United States under total category legally under green card. But there are also temporary other visas, work visas, visit visas, internship visa, education visa, journalist visa. There's so many hundreds different types of visas there are there. But mainly these 3 big categories are living and receiving green card, eventually giving them an option to be a US citizen. EB1, like you said, number 1, it has to have very high level of achievements in your country. So, for example, let's say if someone is very much known, successful as an athletic in Bangladesh, for example, because I've done all these things, I'm telling you from my experience. And if they want to migrate to the United States, America will welcome those successful people in this country. It can be scientist, it can be sports person, it can be author, it can be journalist, it can be artist, it can be coach, is anything for that matter. Even author or columnist, even creative. There's the criteria is unlimited under EB1. But the only issue with this is someone has to have high level of success, being known in the industry for their success. Not every artist will be a video. Not every sport person will be a video. But people, for example, someone has played high level of a club, cricket, for example, they can be a video. It doesn't have to be national. It doesn't have to be international. Depending on overall portfolio, they should have that. And then when they come here, they will be contributing in the same field in this United States. That's the idea. And it has been here for a long time. Could be from model, could be anything. I have done all these things. So that's EB1. This is just a general concept. But, there are certain requirements. What makes you unique? What makes you popular? What makes you successful? It depends. The USCIS has certain lines, certain items that they determine your success as extraordinary EB1 category candidate. Means if you have won any awards, individually or in through group. If you have been a judge individually or as a group or jury member of your related thing. If you have been published in reputed magazines or newspaper for your work. And if you have been a member of specific reputed organizations. If you have high enumeration for your work, for your expertise It could be business too. I have done for businessmen. If that's successful level of businessman. So there are about 9, 10 categories that are listed. Not every category applicable to everybody. Certain, let's say, for example, is going to be artists, the performers. Certain can be the extraordinary doctors, for example. So there are different categories. If you need three and are very successful person in your field, I think that's the right candidate for EB1. But there are EB1B, EB1C, professors, researchers, and sometimes CEO or highly level employee from company, international company, they can also be EB1 C, EB1B. There are different categories under EBs also. You can you don't need employer sponsoring you, but you do have to show an intent to continue to work in the same field. If you come as a sports person, you shouldn't be running a grocery store. That's a different category for that. That's what your intent should be. Tomorrow things can change. They go into disability, people retire, they get all these family situations. But at the time of the filing, their intent should be continue to work in the same field that they were working in their home country. One thing will be applicable, but if you have one, let's say, Asian game, for example, gold medal, you don't need more. If you have Olympic, you don't need more. But if you are not just on the national level, then you need documentation, newspaper, so showing that you have been published widely, certificates of the awards you have won, photos, news broadcasting about those awards. If you have been a judge or jury, kind of aware in which game where, if there is a proof, letters from the experts, learn from your other colleagues and other people showing who you are that you have done. Remember, USCIS officers do not know anything about the international countries, but there are about 998 countries. So we do not expect them to know which newspaper, what article, what sports is more popular in Bangladesh students. This is our job, the candidate job, to show them, okay, this means that, and this person qualified because of this. There are thousands of people file every day. I've done from every Europe to every country, a lot of countries. Processing time, it depends if you are applying from outside of the United States. For example, if you're applying from Bangladesh, the process takes longer time. I do not recommend applying. You can apply from there, but if you have a visa, you would want to do eventually adjust yours. I recommend having people with visas adjust their status here. I-140 first step, you can apply from anywhere. For the second step, different embassy, different country has a different regulation. And it's my understanding, by experience also, U.S. Embassy in Bangladesh is extremely delaying stamping approved green card petition under all these EBs. This is what my experience of. They're unreasonable delay. Application is complete, they're still delaying it. It's just the government's policies and different non-different all these things. And NIW, the recently Trump administration also changed few things. The standard for NIW, if you have certain level of education or expertise, that is beneficial to the United States. And that's pretty much you need. If we can prove your work, you have a significant, you have work that is significant to the United States and it's important, then you should be eligible. Normally, it's changing, and then Trump administration with this nation, with the things are a little bit going backward. Not every science or tech person STEM always going to be eligible for that. It's a specific type of requirement. For example, you see only difference with the EB, NIW, and regular EB2. Do you need an employer or not? NIW does not need an employer. As long as we have a prospective employer or you have your own plan to execute your expertise, that should be enough. But most importantly, your work you have to show will benefit the United States or the community or the industry or the area or the subject matter or the business or the service, something, somehow. But yes, hundreds of thousands of people apply for that because Biden administration had a little relaxed the policy on that. As long as we can say national importance of your work, that's all they need. EB2, EB3, they require to file through employer. When an employer files, we have to go through Department of Labor process. Department of Labor process means I want to hire an employee and I couldn't find the United States employee who can help me to do the job. So I need to recruit this foreigner who fits well for my degree. So the Department of Labor application takes about 13, 14 months. Prevailing was determination, job duties, discrimination, advertisement, and then form application approved. Then one I-140 filing, then it's up to 2 years right now, approximately 20 plus months. This is a requirement for EB2 because the person who is coming has much, much higher level of achievement. And the work he will do will substantially benefit the United States. That's when we say, okay, give me an exemption from this labor certification. That's because of the national importance of the work he will be doing. So exempt from filing Department of Labor. That's it. The course is under EB2 category. National interest can be as fast as you can file paper premium processing. Within a month, you can have a decision. Within 21 days, technically, you can get this so that time. But preparation will take some time. But depending on how much work you have done, assemble paperwork, your degree, evaluation, extra work, all these things, research, if you have done any patent, all these things will be applicable. But the waiting period may be different based on the visa availability. You see, EB1 is a very short number filing. The visa is available more than EB2. So EB2 had a little waiting period, also depending on which country. For Bangladesh, it's not so much, maybe a couple of years, EB3. But India, China has significant 7-8 years of waiting period under this category, even after getting I-140 approved. EB2, there is one more aspect we didn't talk about before I go, because if you have a master degree, regular master degree, we can still be eligible for EB2 as long as you have an employer sponsor you. The process I just described, hiring you, offering you a job, getting Department of Labor permission, posting advertisement for local American employees. If they do not show up, then we file firm, then we file I-140, then green card process. This is still under through regular education. The NIW is slightly extraordinary, but below than EB1. NIW. There are two different under EB2. So you can still do the same process to waiting periods and EB3 is pretty much anybody. EB3 has a professional, skilled, unskilled. So for example, a restaurant dishwasher you can do also. Cook you can do also under EB3 skill. You can do professional EB3 as a general manager or tech employee or any that has a bachelor degree. Okay. So every employee has a requirement, certain things. If the employee meets the requirement for a person, they can do EB3 easily. But the thing is, EB3 has a little bit longer waiting period because more people are filing. Also, couple of years for educator. Also, EB3 has to go through the same Department of Labor process, pre-approval from Department of Labor. I want to hire this person. I couldn't find an American employee. Can you approve this? Once the Department of Labor approves, we send the same application to the USCIS. So USCIS also approved. Obviously, remember, today I'm just being very general. There are very deep subcategories, categories we can go over. I just wanted to inform in a very basic way what this means. Asylum seekers should also know it's not only asylum. Every area of immigration has been confusing, scary for everybody right now because of the administration's new policy, restrictive policy, I must say. But also, you're right, asylum new applicants are getting interviewed right away, within few weeks from the day of filing. And then if the USCIS asylum office doesn't approve, those applications are submitted to the port forwarded. And the court also have a lot of discretion. And since if you see since last a year and a half, almost 2 years, uh, that in time, there has been a huge reduction in the numbers of asylee crossing through the border and filing. So all the courts and judges and the officers have free times. So they are processing files very, very fast. Asylum is very tricky. You see, you have to be very careful from the day on. Obviously, if this is not genuine and fake, they will go after you strongly. So if you have a real strong reason of fear prosecution, anyone can be eligible according to the law. However, it's come down to proving your issues. So if you can do that, you have. If the officer doesn't do it, you can go to the court. So let the court decide. You present your documentation, why, when, where, all these questions. So obviously, if it comes within the parameter of the law, it shouldn't be worried. WXP, the situation is tough right now in every way. As of right now, it hasn't even the minor like interview requirement, this and that. But I think the law is still the same. If they are eligible, they are definitely qualified. They can do it. It's my experience. We continuously doing EBs all right now as we speak. So we haven't had any issue. As long as everything is legitimate, it's fine. No need to be concerned. Tomorrow, policy will come, but this is law. It's not the policy. Policy can only make things more complicated. They cannot remove. This is law signed by Congress. So it can't be changed until Congress signs a new law. That's very important. It's like saying, I'm sick. Can I go to doctor or talk to someone else? Because even today, for example, there were some people who came to me, they consulting. They said, we just came from different lawyer. That lawyer was focusing on one issue, but we asked you a lot of questions. Now we have wide range of options. So for the same reason, you want to go to an experienced person who knows, who handles this on regular basis. You don't have to hire him or her, but at least consult. So if you go to 2 to 3 people and find out option, you know exactly what to do. So it's very important to at least know the process, the timeline, the chances, the risk involved, when to file, how to file, what documents I need, if you should file or wait. These are all very important questions. Without experience, without speaking with a experienced person, anyone, I don't think they should make decisions. It helps you. You can buy it by yourself, but then again, you regret tomorrow. Who knows? You haven't gotten the whole picture. First of all, the knowledge, when they do not have enough knowledge and information as to what is required, how we require things, and if you don't, you can't present the documentation to us. So it's very important to understand exactly what is required. And if you don't have document A, you can actually present B. Even if you don't have B, you can present C. If you don't have C, you can present D. Remember, you can't have, it's not a straightforward one rule. It's a combination of all the requirements that makes your application is strong. So first thing is understanding. So asking question and understanding the detail, only then you can provide documentation. Number one. Number two, I guess so far people have provided documentation that I want because they understand. They might have to engage some third party translator because some of the newspapers documentation in Bangla will have to be translated in English. So other than that, I think they know the type of people I work. They understand what is required from them, and then we proceed. Well, a lot of them, it's very interesting that for the last 10, 15 years, I've done a lot. You probably know also, you can ask people. That's why you said people like coming to me. Some of the applications that have very low chance have been approved. Some of the applications I thought has a very good chance, I was certain, have been denied once, but then I refiled and got it done. The reason is USCIS officers have a very different mindset. There are good officers, there are reasonable officers, there are some of them, so you can't just convince them. And they have so much authority. Sometimes I had won the cases on appeal on them, with appeal before that. So we know from our experience what will get approved. But sometimes, because bad bad happens, staff officer reviews the application, will deny. But we got the same application next time. It's a several cases, not only one, many cases we have done that. So what it shows is it's kind of unpredictable, but at the same time, we know because we have done so many where this file stands. If I feel like very weak and something, I advise don't do it because we're going to waste your money. I have done that many applicants. Sometimes they take risk. I have no option. Let's buy it. And they have Oppo. By the way, they're all legitimate. They're not all genuine clients. So yes, that's my experience with the USCIS. Eventually, we will get it done. But maybe first time, maybe regular processing, maybe fast processing. It depends on case by case basis. Actually, with this administration, I prefer they apply from outside because we want to be a little safer. That gives them back options, option 2, option 3, all these things. Because the situation with this new administration is a little bit tough in terms of migration. So while they are in their home country, it's better because they can provide the documentation I asked. They can get the translation from right there, all these things. We can do back and forth communication much easier. We even have time to control wait to file. Can we wait 2 more weeks? Yes, we can because they are not here. But when they are here, we can still file. We have done it all the time. But the timeline is very tough. We got to finish very fast. They have to rush. Sometimes they can't get the documentation here because they are not in Bangladesh. So yes, absolutely. EB1, EB2, EB3, all these employment base can be filed when they are outside the United States.